Hi, I'm John Costa, the editor of Citizen's Eye. It's Friday the 19th of November and we're catching up with Sir Peter Soulsby, the MP for Leicester South. Good evening, Sir Peter.
Good evening, John.
Now, thanks very much for agreeing to talk to us. There's been a lot of debate lately about the issue around elected mayors and it's quite a hot topic here in Leicester. Could you just tell us a little bit about maybe the background to the whole scenario around elected mayors here in Leicester?
Well, at the moment, the City Council has got a leader, and that leader is chosen by the councillors. From next May, after the elections, the council's either got to have a leader chosen by those councillors or an elected mayor chosen by the people. It's got to make a decision by the end of December which of those it wants. Whether it wants to have the person who has the powers of a mayor chosen by councillors, or whether it wants to have that person chosen by the electors of the city. And I think it's just a no-brainer. I think that it's the people of the city who have the right to know who's standing for mayor, who's going to exercise those powers, who wants to exercise those powers, and it's they who should have the chance to choose the person who they want to lead their council and their city.
Now, you're throwing your hat in the ring as a prospective mayoral candidate. What sort of things do you think you would actually bring to the role for Leicester?
Well, I think the first thing to say, John, is that I'm sure I won't be the only person putting my name forward. I think there'll be other people in my own party who'll want to have a go at doing it, and I hope there'll be lots of people in other parties, and perhaps independents as well, wanting to do it. Because this is the chance for people to put forward their vision for the future of the city, and to let the people of the city decide who they want to take forward the vision for the future. And I believe that having had 17 years as the council leader, having had now nearly 6 years as an MP for the city, I've got a fairly good idea about what's right with this city and also what's wrong with this city. And I think that the city does need some clear, some decisive leadership to take it forward in the 21st century. And I think I'm well placed to provide that leadership. But as I say, there'll be other people who will have alternative visions who will also want to stand. And I think it's very healthy that those visions should be put in front of the people of the city, and that the people of the city should have a chance to decide who they want to carry forward that vision and to be their mayor.
Now, I think a lot of people, when they look at the politics and stuff, would see being an MP and representing an area that they've either grown up in or worked in all their life as almost like being the pinnacle of your career, obviously aside things like being a government minister or the Prime Minister or something like that. So really something like a mayor or an elected mayor is still something quite new to a lot of people, and I think that a lot of people don't understand it because they're not taking the time to fully appreciate or have it explained to them. I mean, do you see it as a career step for you to be able to stand as something as the mayor, or is it a way of doing something slightly different in a city that you've already served in two different roles?
I think it's a different way of serving a city that I've come to love over many, many years. It's been a great privilege to be a Member of Parliament for a part of this city. It's not something that I ever expected would happen, and representing this very diverse city in Parliament is a wonderful opportunity for me, and I'm very grateful for having had that opportunity. But I think that the opportunity to, as you say, it's a new role, to create the role of mayor in Leicester, to help shape the way that's going to be for the future, and to help shape the city in the future, is something that I believe, something that's going to be enormously rewarding. It's going to be enormously challenging as well, because of course we're going to be entering this new style of mayor at a time when there have been savage cuts from the central government in the amount of money that the council will have to spend, and inevitably some very tough decisions to be taken. I don't relish having to take those decisions, but believe that they will need to be taken, and they will need somebody with experience and an understanding of the city to take them wisely and to take them along with the people of the city who will have elected that person to do the job.
Now, will there be a referendum where the people of the city still get to decide whether we go down the elected mayor route, or as in at the moment where it's elected by the people once they've won the election, or have we passed that deadline?
Well, we've actually passed the deadline. I mean, the council, and it was up to the councillors to decide this, could, say back in the summer, have decided to hold a referendum and to decide whether they wanted themselves to choose the person with the mayoral powers, or to have the people decide it. It's actually now got past the point, really, where I think it's practical to have a referendum. They are obliged by law to have a decision taken by the 31st of December. And it doesn't take a genius to work out that you don't really get a referendum in place in the few weeks we've got before then. They have to take that decision, and I just regret that some of those who are now saying that we should have a referendum weren't saying that back 6 months ago, when it would actually have been possible to do it. But I mean, I understand all the arguments for having a referendum if you're changing the style of government anywhere. But of course, what this particular change is doing isn't taking power from the people, it's giving power to the people. And while, as I say, I regret that those who are arguing for a referendum aren't in practice going to be able to get one, I do believe that giving power to the people is, as they put it, so much of a no-brainer that I think on this occasion it's a decision that can be taken because it is increasing democracy in the city, enabling people in the city to have power that they haven't had in the past, and I think that's very much a good thing.
Now, some people will be watching this and maybe have read the paper or may have no opinion at all about the role of mayor and may confuse the current role we have of, say, the Lord Mayor, which probably for many, many years has sort of tickled along, and people have seen people, giving out awards and at ceremonies and openings. And this year, the whole role of the Lord Mayor has really come much more into the public fore with its current incumbent, and issues that have been raised with behaviour and things like that, and questioning the whole role. Do you think that the role of Lord Mayor will come more into question in this mayoral campaign, as whether it's still something to be retained?
Well, I think again that's a matter for the people of Leicester to decide. But I certainly see no reason at all why the council shouldn't continue to have its Lord Mayor as well as its executive mayor. Of course, that's exactly what happens in London. You still have a Lord Mayor of London, along with an executive mayor of London. Currently Boris Johnson. Prior to that, it was Ken Livingstone. That's a system people have come to understand quite well. They understand that the Lord Mayor is a ceremonial role, an honorary role, and they understand that the elected mayor is somebody who actually has executive power. I think that's something that, if they can manage it in London, we can manage in Leicester, and it needn't take away from the role of the Lord Mayor as our honorary first citizen.
Okay, now, following on from the national elections, obviously there's a lot more of an appetite for engagement with politicians, and the televised debates, we've had those kind of things, and I agree with Nick and all that kind of stuff. It was quite interesting at the time to report on that from the outside. Do you think that this campaign for mayor, should I say, and all the people that are going to get involved in it, if we had a televised debate, or if we had some hustings and things like that, that's the sort of thing that you'd be willing to partake in?
Oh, absolutely. I just think it would be brilliant. I mean, because that's one of the great strengths of actually having a mayoral election. It is that you do get the opportunity, we ought to get the opportunity, to question all the candidates about their competing visions for the future of the city, to hear what they have to say and to make a judgment on the basis of that. And I think it has the potential to re-engage people, to get them involved in local politics in a way that I think will be very, very healthy indeed. Because I think, as we all know, it's very disappointing that comparatively small proportions of people turn out for council elections, and comparatively small proportions of people show a real interest and engagement in their local politics. And I think local democracy is vitally important. And I think it is vitally important that people get the opportunity to engage in general, particularly get the opportunity to engage with the mayoral candidates, and at the end of the day, get an opportunity to cast their vote as to what sort of city they want and who it is they want to take forward their vision for the future.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure, John.